What's up everyone, James here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the top 5 things I learnt about fish. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. I put out weekly videos on all my fish keeping antics and what I get up to, so hopefully there's something for everybody. And if you could, make sure you got that bell notification switched on so you get notified about any videos that I upload. Right, let's get stuck in. Number 5. Do your research. If there's anything that I've learned since starting fish keeping, it is that research definitely is key. Now, right at the very beginning, we all fall victim to those beginner mistakes. I'm certainly no saint in that department. I just feel that, like, from the experience that I've had, you know, now I just always make sure that I've gone online and done a bit of research. You know, you can fall into a lot of beginner traps by walking into your local fish shop and seeing a really nice fish or a plant or something that you think, yeah, this is what I want in my aquarium, and tend to impulse purchase that item and then get it back, and that's when you notice all the common sort of issues that you might get. You could get like aggression, you could have the wrong water parameters for the fish that you have, you know, you could not have acclimated properly or spent the time to check out the best ways to do so and practices. So, you know, making sure that you've done your research before making any kind of purchase is always the best thing to do. Now, the other thing that I will say is that in my experience, you're best off avoiding social media as well, especially with the plethora of forums and groups that you can get. Now, I'm not saying all are bad, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it completely. What I'm saying is, you know, tread with caution, because you will tend to get two types of people that stick up in a lot of these groups. You either get somebody that's very inexperienced and will suggest things that you really shouldn't be doing, or based on their personal experiences, which sometimes can be helpful, sometimes can be completely you know, unhelpful at all, but it's worth checking that out. And the other one is massively experienced people who will suggest that you have to do it this way, or that you have to buy the most expensive things. And sometimes I feel that that is just as bad as the beginners or the amateurs that sort of come into this hobby. So I would say that, if anything, you know, make sure that you're looking for the reliable sources of information. You know, there's plenty of websites out there, you know, from scientific websites to, you know, fish keeping pages and stuff. So, you know, the information is there. So I feel that you're best off doing your research as opposed to finding the easy way of asking loads of people for their opinions, because you're not really learning it and some of the information might not be true. So it's always best to check for yourself before taking any sort of leaps into something that you don't know about. Number 4. I think this one is really important for something that I learned personally, which is to be very aware and avoid beginner fish, or those ones that are hailed as beginner fish, because I feel that they can cause just as many problems for you as a lot of the other fish in the hobby. I did a podcast episode on this, sort of talking about sort of the best beginner fishes, and you know, to cut a very long podcast short, I think the better thing that you should be thinking about is, you know, best fish for the environment that you're trying to produce. So, you know, if you're looking to imitate natural habitats of aquariums, then, you know, maybe go for the fish that represent the rivers or the ocean, part of the ocean that you want to imitate. I find that's a better way than trying to find what's easier to get yourself started, because I feel that, in my view, you fall into the mistakes of, you buy all of these fish, and that's great for the first month or so whilst you're getting used to how the nitrogen cycle works, how to do water changes and how to do all the rest of it, that you then end up wanting to explore more, but stuck with an aquarium full of fish that you don't really want, but you got because they were the best beginner ones that were suggested, or the easiest or the cheapest, you know. And I feel that you can get very disillusioned there as to, you know, what you want going forward. Also, as I've said many times before, going for beginner fish usually indicates going for live bearers if you're going for freshwater or tropical fish, and you can end up with the problem of mass breeding, because a lot of the fishes tend to either breed when they're feeling stressed, or they just do regular monthly breedings. Like I said, live bearers are the very keen one for this, and you can end up with an aquarium very quickly full of fish. And if you're just new to the hobby, this could be a bit overwhelming, or if your aquarium is new and you've been given the wrong information in the shops, then you can also fall into traps such as ammonia spikes and things like that, because you're overstocked in aquarium which hasn't had time to mature. So I feel that this goes back to the previous point: do your research first, and not just jump into it because people have suggested that this is the thing that you should do when you first start out buying an aquarium or a fish tank or anything like that. So number 3, plants are awesome. Now, if there's anything that I've learned in the time that I've been keeping aquariums, is that plants are a must-have for any fish tank that you own. The reason why I say that is that they will save you so much problems in the future. Having an aquarium full of plastic plants and just a filter, can work for some people, but plants are, a natural organism from nature, and their purpose is, to help an ecosystem. So if you have plants in a tank, for example, they will naturally suck up all the ammonia and nitrite and all those other bits and pieces that culminate in your aquarium that help with the nitrogen cycle. So you have a natural source there of uptaking any bad stuff in your aquarium and helping to keep that aquarium clean and sort of pristine, and that obviously in turn helps the welfare and benefit of your fish. So not only that, it will help your fish or shrimp naturally as well, in terms of hiding spaces to lay eggs or hatch fry, or sort of hide if they feel threatened. It helps with diverting line of sight if you've got aggressive fish in your aquarium. So there's so many benefits, and from a visual point of view, seeing green in your house is a very good thing for your mental well-being. There's a lot of studies to show that seeing natural products or plants in your house helps with that sense of calmness and stuff. So there's definitely benefits there to them. And also, I don't know if you can see behind me here, but they do look pretty fantastic as well. So I think that there's a lot of benefits to using plants as opposed to not having plants. That something always worth considering in my view. Number 2, understanding the nitrogen cycle correctly. Now, I've talked about this before, again, on my content through social media or podcasts and things like that, but understanding the nitrogen cycle isn't always that clear. And this goes once again back to point number 5 that I made earlier on in this video, which is doing your research. Now, I have openly admitted in the past that I made some mistakes with understanding how the nitrogen cycle worked, and one specific mistake that happened to me a long time ago was that I was just sick and tired of an aquarium that I had. It had an outbreak of pest snails, and it was just demotivating me, and so I ended up tearing the aquarium down and setting it back up again once I'd got rid of all the snails. Now, what I didn't do was I didn't keep the filter media that was in there. Well, I did keep it, sorry, but what I mistakenly did was washed it in tap water. And obviously, if you have tap water and you wash that, the chlorine can kill any beneficial bacteria that is on the media that I had. So in turn, that then created more issues for me down the line. Luckily, I had live bearers, so they were, they're sort of more hardier when it comes to tolerating parameter swings in your aquarium, but of course that's still not ethically nice for those fish to have to endure. So, it's understanding how that works. Now, I don't want to go into too many immense details on this factor, but I have a video that I made a while back on, you know, the nitrogen cycle, explained a bit more detail in that. So I'll leave a link in the top corner there in the description, just so you can check that out if you want to find out any more information. And number 1, natural style aquariums. Now, if anybody's watched any of my content in the past, they will know that this was probably coming as my number 1 thing that I've learnt keeping fish, is that these items right here are not natural. And what I mean by that is, as much as they visually look great and you can get some really amazing looking aquariums with them, plastic plants are not found in nature, and neither are massively aquascaped aquariums. Now, I know I say that hypocritically whilst there is planted aquariums behind me, so I just want to make the point right now that I really enjoy planted aquariums. They are a more natural way than using fake plants like this and colourful gravel, but still my favorite way to run aquariums is to try and replicate those natural habitats that are found in the wild, because I feel like for some reason this isn't a thing that happens a lot in the fish keeping hobby. A lot of the perception when you go into a fish shop, especially chain ones, is that you'll see them all over the boxes. They'll have a pink lid, they'll have coloured gravel, they'll have fake plants, and they'll probably have a massive goldfish in the middle of it. You know, and I feel like that is a fundamental reason why there's a problem in the hobby at the moment, and it's something that we need to address as hobbyists going forward. But my point always has been with these natural aquariums is that, you know, the use of organic items such as seed pods, leaves, and other botanicals like cones and things like that, the release of tannins, algae, that sort of stuff really helps create a more natural environment for your fish. And that is ultimately when you will probably see, if not likely, the actual natural benefits of your fish. So they'll probably display natural behaviors, they'll probably end up breeding quicker, you'll probably have more success with breeding as well, because their fry or the eggs have better places to hatch and feel safe. I feel that, yeah, you just see happier fish. There's so many benefits that come from it, not only for the livestock, but just to know that you're replicating something that's found in nature is probably the most rewarding thing. And I've certainly seen so many benefits. I've talked about them before, like I said, with the breeding behaviors. My corridoras, for example, in one of the natural sort of replicated aquariums that I have, they breed all the time, and I'm having massive success with them. And yet I have corridors in a big planted aquascape aquarium just down below here, and I have had not a lot of success with it, in the sense that I've never successfully grown any corridoras other than the ones that I originally purchased. Now, they lay eggs quite a lot of the time, and every time I get the eggs, I try and put them in breeder boxes or let them just sit in the aquarium, and nothing ever comes from it. And I think that a lot of it comes down to there not being enough places for the eggs to be placed properly, because they're all over the glass most of the time. Whereas again, in my natural sort of replicated aquarium, they tend to lay the eggs underneath all the leaves and in the seed pods and under all the wood and stuff. So you can tell this kind of type of natural behavior that you get when you introduce, you know, natural items to your aquarium, as opposed to trying to have these pristine, you know, aquascapes. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with them. I enjoy them for the most part. They're visually appealing, and I think that they definitely have a place in this hobby. And as I said before, introducing plants to your aquarium is a massive benefit anyway, so there's nothing, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I just feel that, again, it's I'd like to see more just replicating nature, and you know, that could be anything. That could be a clean, pristine sort of stream or something like that. You know, because there's a lot of those around the world. They don't have to be completely covered in leaves. In the UK, you know, there's a lot of freshwater, you know, fish, and there's probably not a lot of leaves in some of the rivers and streams that you see around here, as well as other places around the world. So there's definitely something to try and create, and I feel that you get more benefit from that than you do just having a big planted aquascape in your house, or like I said, utilizing products like these. So it's definitely something I've learned, something I hope that I can help portray and push in the future, along with some really other amazing sort of businesses and influencers that are out there, because there really is some amazing things that you do with your aquariums. You don't have to, I say this with a bit of bitterness, but you don't have to replicate nature in the sense that it has to be covered in tannins and stuff like that. You can get rid of all the substances that come out of the leaves, like all that orange tint, and you can put the botanicals in your aquarium. You can have them pristine if you want, but at least you've still got organic items in there. So although it's not technically replicating nature, it's still a closer start to, like I said, pink gravel or colored gravel and having a massive goldfish in your aquarium. So yeah, definitely something that I've learned, and I hope that I've helped you learn something too. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and let me know what you've learned about fish in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure that you definitely comment and leave a like if you could. Like I said, hit that subscribe button. If you want to support the channel as well, I have a link to my Patreon account, or there's other social media links if you want to follow me on there. I have a podcast out as well, which you can check out if you want to, listen to anything that I've done whilst, driving in your car or on the train. So yeah, hopefully there's something for you there. And I just want to say again, for all you beginners listening or watching out there, take your time, do your research. There's plenty of information out there. I'm not the god of all fish keeping, and a lot of the people that are on social media aren't. All the information's there written down in books or online, so definitely check out that as opposed to, trying to ask people. In my opinion, that's the best way forward. And until next time, you stay safe.